Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to be taking a look at how to make an upside down peach cake. Now, it's quite similar to making an upside down pineapple cake. The only thing that really changes is that you're using peaches, as well as your peaches actually gets infused into your cake in this recipe. So, let's get into this menu. So I have some items here ready to make a upside down peach cake. So this is gonna have, I'm gonna be using 1 can of peaches. It says that it's how many ounces here? I don't know. I'll tell you how many halves I use. How about that? To make this recipe. You're gonna need 2 eggs, a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of You're gonna need 1/3 of a cup of butter, also a 1/2 cup of butter. You're gonna need a 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. You're gonna need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 2 cups of flour. So first thing first, if you'd like, you can do your dry ingredients, which would be your flour, your baking powder, and your salt. And you can just give that a whisk. We're gonna whisk our eggs because we're gonna. So to your small saucepan, I just added my 1/3 of a cup of butter, and to that I'm going to be adding the 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and we're gonna place that on the stove to melt on a medium-high fire. And yeah, we're gonna put it on medium, and we're gonna let that melt a little bit, and we're gonna be adding some syrup to this. So this syrup here, it comes in a syrup. See, it says it comes in a syrup. However, it's just a regular syrup. It's not a peach syrup. So what we're gonna do to get that peach syrup is we're gonna put a 1/2 of that peach in there. Well, we could afford a bit more, but we're gonna put a 1/2 in there, and we're gonna put, say, about a 1/2 cup of the syrup. Let's put a full peach in there. So I have the contents of a full peach in my Ninja Bullets. So what I'm gonna do right now is I am going to blend that out till it comes like a slurry / paste. Puree kind of sauce, which it is right now. And we're gonna, our sugar and our butter that's melting there, we're gonna be pouring in the slurry of the peaches that we just made. We're gonna be infusing the sauce so that it develops that flavor, right? Because else this will just be a syrup. I found this to be the most useful way to infuse that peach into there, since it is canned peaches, so it kind of brings out that flavor, you know. What we can do at this point is we can turn our volume up or our stove up to medium-high, and then we'll leave this be until it starts to boil. We're not going to do much to this right at this point. There's nothing to do until this all starts going together. So we'll let that butter melt and the sugar melt and that come to a complete boil, and we'll proceed at that point. We'll start timers and all that, but this has to develop into a boil first. So our peach syrup started to develop. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn our fire down to medium-low, and we're gonna set a timer. We're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. And we'll be back to check that accordingly and see how it's doing, but it's gonna reduce a little bit, so we'll let that be for 10 minutes. Inside of that can, there's 1, 2, the one that we put on the stove, 3.5 peaches. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be slicing these ones And for the last 5 minutes of the syrup, we're gonna add that in. So I have 5 minutes to slice up this and add it to the pot so that it can reduce with that sauce and take up a bit of that flavor. So I'm gonna just be slicing these. You can slice them how you want, but I'm just gonna be thinly slicing them. All right, so to your syrup, you're gonna be adding your peaches. I'm gonna just hand put them in. And you're gonna let that cook into the sauce there for the last 5 minutes of this 10-minute that we set on the timer for this. So we're gonna give it a mix with a spatula, and then we're gonna allow it to infuse the peaches for the last so we've transferred our half cup of butter into a teacup. We're going to be placing this teacup in the microwave for 40 seconds just so that the butter can get warmed up a little bit and melted slightly. And then we're going to be incorporating that with our sugar and our next couple of ingredients. So let's get going here with that. We'll put our butter in, get it melted, and we'll be back. Yeah, we didn't want our butter to be boiling hot or anything. We just wanted it to be soft enough to melt. So 40 seconds was enough. We're just pouring that butter right up top our sugar. And we're gonna give that a mix to incorporate just so our sugar softens up. So we're gonna be adding some of this peach sauce to our butter and sugar. However, since the peaches are hot, what you wanna do, since we don't wanna cook our eggs, is we wanna put in our whisked eggs at this point. So we're gonna put them into our butter and sugar here that we have mixed, and we're gonna totally whisk that in so that it's well whisked before we add anything. Now that we've had our eggs infused with our butter and sugar and it's well incorporated, what we're gonna do, this is the kind of sauce you get, or I should say this is the texture of what you get. But anyways, we're gonna go in with some of this peach syrup. No peaches, just syrup. First, we're gonna go in with half a cup, or our half cup measurement straight on in. We're gonna give that a whisk to incorporate into our sugar and butter and all that good stuff. This is just enhancing the flavor so that by the time this is introduced into our flour mixture, it's giving it some life, you know? So the goal is to get this up to about 2 cups. So we're just gonna add till it's about 2 cups worth in here and give it a whisk. So after we've added our syrup and we've got our line up to 2 cups, we just give this a nice little whisk to make sure the flavors go through everything here. And you're free to pour this out into the base of a cake pan. You don't put any grease or anything. You just pour your peaches out on there, and we're gonna arrange this nicely so that it sits well on top of the cake. So I'll be back to arrange that, but we're gonna be mixing in these. What I've done was I arranged my peaches going around the edges. As you can see, it's in a more of a organized fashion. I found that to be the most useful part of doing this. The rest is, you could just arrange it around with whatever you have left, but I found the edges to be the biggest part of the focus. So you don't have to, this part is optional going in with the cherries. However, I'm gonna give it a splash of color. So I'll arrange that, and then I'll show you. We've arranged our cherries on top of our peaches. Like I said, cherries are optional. However, I find it gives it a nice bit of color, a splash of color. So we're gonna move on to our flour and batter mixture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-infuse this by giving it a couple of stirs like this. And then we're gonna totally be introducing this into our flour, and we're gonna give it a whisk till a batter develops. So I'll show you what that looks like as we go developing this. So guys, I changed out my whisk for a fork because I found that the fork gave me a better mix on this. So as you can see here, being that we spooned in some peach, there's some little fine peach in this, which is nice. I mean, it enhances the whole look and, you know, intensifies the flavor, that's for sure. So our next step would be to pour our batter right over top this peach. So this is just the poured out batter. I haven't spread it at all, and I don't see that I really need to. The syrup has adjusted nicely around the edges, which is good. All the peaches are covered, which is good. I'm just making sure my batter is spread all the way to the edge. And yeah, I have my oven on at the moment at 350 preheating. It's already preheated, so I'm just gonna be slipping this in there for half an hour and I'll be back. Hey y'all, so I'm back with the cake. It's finished. It's baked all the way through. I checked it. I'm actually peeking down in this little hole to see how everything's looking. But anyways, it's perfect. It turned out great. I'm just gonna be running my knife around the sides just to help loosen it up. Yeah guys, so pray for me that this flip will go down well. I just now put a plate up top and I'm going to be flipping this cake over. Oh my god, I might need 2 hands guys because it's hot. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, so we got it flipped. And here goes the cake. Yeah guys, so this is what we got for our cake. Pineapple, or peach upside down cake. Yeah, so it turned out great, as you can see. And some of the cherries came through, some went down on the side, which is great. There's a piece of cherry in probably every slice. So yeah, it's the peach upside down cake, guys. So I figured I'd come back when I'm just about to slice this cake and show you guys what it looks like, top to bottom. I'm probably gonna cut the piece with the cherry. It's quite soft actually. And we're gonna plate it and we'll see what it looks like. There's our cake, guys. It's still very hot, as you can see the steam still rolling off of it. Yeah, let's put it to the side so we can check it out. So as you can see, it's a nice fluffy sponge cake, you know, it's super soft, it bounces back. And yeah, we got our nice peach covering on the side.